Hi guys, and welcome back to my darkroom. The first thing I've got to say is thank you very much to my Patreons of Shoot Film Like a Boss, because without you guys I wouldn't be able to make as many videos and buy as many materials, chemicals and film and paper and stuff. So I really do appreciate your help. Thank you very much. Let's get on with this video. It's going to be about dodging and burning, and I've had a few messages from subscribers and also a few inbox messages as well from new beginners in the darkroom works, and they're just asking me about dodging and burning. So I thought I'd make a video and show you some of the tools that I use, why I use dodging and burning, and what sort of scenarios would I use it in and what for. So that's what this video is going to be about. And if you are new to the darkroom, you've probably heard of the term burning and dodging. So before I get into any dodging and burning, I just think it's important for new beginners to understand a little bit about what the negative and the enlarger and the photographic paper is doing as well, because once you understand that, and once you can understand how to read a negative, you'll know instantly by looking at the negative that you're about to print if it needs any dodging and burning. So let's get on to the real core basics first of all, with the negative and the photographic paper. Now, if you notice on your negative, you'll put it in the carrier, you turn the light on and you put your photographic paper on the bottom and it makes the print. But some people don't understand how it does that, or how the light or dark areas on the print work out when the light is shining through the negative. So I'm going to try and explain that for you now. I think it's important to know that, so that when you look at a negative, you'll be able to know if you need any dodging and burning before you even put it on the carrier. So what I'm going to do in this short test now is I've just taken a piece of photographic paper out as a test strip, and I'm going to hold my finger and thumb on the paper like so, and I'm going to turn the lights on just for a few seconds and then develop the paper. So in effect, the paper is going to get light onto it. Apart from where my finger and thumb is, it's going to get no light at all. So let's just do that now. I'll turn the lights on and off. Now we'll develop this and have a look. In it goes. And the paper's starting to go black, and you can see where my thumb is on the paper. So let's stop and fix that and have a look at this bit of paper. Okay, so here's the piece of paper that I just did a test with, and you can see what I did. I turned the lights on, but I held my thumb over this area of the paper here. So I turned the lights on in the darkroom, developed, stopped and fixed, washed, and this is the result. The paper, the light sensitive paper, naturally reacts to the light. It goes jet black because there was shed loads of light going onto it. Apart from where my thumb was, that stayed white. So in effect, what I've done is I've burned the paper and I've dodged this area in a roundabout sort of way. Okay, a little bit extreme, but that's what happens when the paper receives no light and the rest of the paper gets bags of light. So let's now look at the negative and try and understand what's going on here. If you've got negative with various tonalities, such as this one here, you can see the blacks, the whites, there's lots of mids going on with the brickwork. This is a lamp outside my garden. And then you'll also notice there is transparent areas as well. And let's just show you another negative to see that on. This one's just to show you different tonalities, and the next negative I'll show you is back at the car show again. So we're looking at this one here, which is an old British Ford car, and you can see the dense areas of the negative here is the sky, and the very thin areas underneath the car here is the dark shadow areas. And if I put just a piece of paper down with some writing on, you can see what I'm talking about. So this area here, the shadow area, is very, very thin and you can see through it, whereas the sky is very dense and you can't see through it at all. So in effect, what's going to happen when you put this on your enlarger and you shine light through it onto the photographic sensitive paper, this area here, which is pretty much transparent, is going to go jet black, whereas the dense areas are going to hold back more. So if you put this on for 5 seconds, the chances are the sky is not going to do much. It's going to stay white, as I just showed you on that test strip, and this area is just going to go jet black, and then we've got a little bit of tone going on here. So I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about by putting this on the enlarger and making a print with it. So you can see this is the dark shadow area here. and this is the transparent part of the negative, and the rest of it we've got some tones, we've got the number plate, we've got the headlight as well, we've got the grille, but all these heavy white areas are going to be jet black when I come to making my print. At first I've got to do some test prints, but these areas are going to be jet black, and especially underneath here in the shadow area. Now, this was grass, I think it was grass if I remember, so I want to try and keep a little tiny bit of detail in this area, but I'm going to have to make some test prints to see what's going on. And also the top of the car here, which is the sky, I'm shooting low down looking up, all this sky area, you can see there's nothing there at all. So that's where the negative is the most dense and most heavy, so the light isn't going to travel through that part of the negative as much as this area, so that is pretty much going to stay white unless I burn it in for a lot longer, which is possibly where we're going to go afterwards. But let's make a quick test strip and we'll get a rough idea of how to make a first print. And because I know that the sky area is completely blown out, I'm going to be concentrating on this area for my test strip. If I lay the test strip down this way, this area is going to be wasted, so I'm just going to lay it across that way, across the grille. Let's open it up, there you go, trap it in. So we'll open it there, across the grille, maybe a little bit on the shadow, and I can start seeing what's going on. So I'm just going to do this in increments of 3 seconds. And one more. Alright, so here's my test strip here. As you can see, I've got 3 seconds, then I've got 6 seconds, 9 seconds, 12 and so on. Between 6 and 9, I'm going to go for 7 seconds actually. And so this is my 7-second print, and you know, when I look at this, there's no sky whatsoever, it's completely blown out. We knew that because on the negative it was so heavy and dense, the light's just not coming through as long as it needs to create any image on the paper. But it will do if I left it long enough, but I couldn't leave it long enough because if I did that, the blacks would be completely shot. In fact, as the thinnest part of the negative underneath the car in the shadow area, which I showed you on the negative, just as I thought, it's gone jet black. I'd like to see a little bit more detail because there is grass there. I'd like to see a little bit more detail in there. These areas are not too bad, and there's the actual negative there just above my thumb. I'm not sure if it's in focus, looks about right. You can see the thin part at the bottom and the heavy part at the top, which is representing what we've just printed. Heavy part at the top has got no light onto the paper, whereas the thin part, the transparent part, has allowed the light to come straight through and hit the light sensitive paper first. So a bit of work's going to have to be done on this print first. We're going to have to look at this bottom area, but first, next thing I want to do is do a test for the sky. I need to know how long I'm going to be burning this sky in for. At the moment I'm quite happy with 7 seconds, but I need to see how long it's going to take me to get some detail in that sky. If there is any sky, all I can see is a negative that's very dense, but we'll soon see with some test strips. Okay, so I've just finished doing some testing on the sky, and you can see this is the test strip that I did on the sky. I placed the paper along this way, and I did increments of 10 seconds. I did 10, 20, 30, you can't even see it. Then 40 seconds started to come through, 50, 60, 70. So I evaluated that 40 seconds looks good enough to me. So then I made another strip, just put it over the sky, and let it burst for 40 seconds. And now it started to penetrate through that really dense negative and started to get detail now in the sky. So I'm happy with 40 seconds for the sky. So I'm going to write that down on this print here. I'm just going to squiggle 40 seconds like so. I know the sky is going to need 40 seconds, and this area, which we said was 7 seconds, just gives me an idea, rough idea what I'm doing when I'm trying to make a print. And now the next part to look at is the bottom of the image here, which is the shadow area. So I need to do another test strip just to see where I can start getting detail in here. Now once I've established that, I can then start making my master prints, if you like, by using the dodge and burning tools. Okay, so I've just done a quick test strip now on this area here only, And I'm not going to be able to do much here. This is way too dark. I'm not getting any detail back out of it, but I know it's 7 seconds. So what I did, I just put a small piece of paper over this side, as you can see here, for 3 seconds. And I've managed to get a little tiny bit more detail, and you can see that, in the grass area. So I'm going to stick with 3 seconds just on the undercarriage here. You can see. And I'm going to make a print and see how it looks, because from there I can then decide what else I need to do. So I'll just show you some of the tools that I use for dodging and burn. I've always used all sorts of different ones, but I've got, this is black card, so I can burn areas of the print. Other little dodge tools that I've got, it's just made out of chicken wire and pieces of black card and electrical tape as well to stick it on. It's a square one, a long oblong one there, and a thinner one. Drain pipes and stuff, or whatever, if you like. And this is another one here. A circular one and a smaller circular one, sometimes good for dodging eyes on portraits and stuff. And there's a little square one there and a triangular one. So they're just little basic dodge tools. And for burning, I've got this one here which has got a hole in, so I can, obviously the black card will stop any light getting into any areas of the print other than what I can see through that little tiny hole. We'll do that one in a second. And I've got something very similar here, a small hole and a larger hole again. So this is for smaller areas. I can just hold my fingers over that. There you go. But so far all I need for this print is going to be this for the sky. And I'm going to use my oblong one for the shadow underneath, I think. That'll probably work best. So these are the two tools I'm going to use. Let's get some paper on and see what happens. Okay, so I've got my piece of 10x8 paper ready to make my first test print, and I know that 7 seconds I've allowed for the car, which is great. So I've set the timer for 7 seconds, so I'm going to do that first. And then I know the sky area was 40 seconds, so 40 minus 7 is 33, so I'm going to burn that for 33 seconds. That will give me my 40 seconds. And then underneath the car, the shadow area under the car, I only wanted 3 seconds. So from that 7 seconds, I'll cover that for 4 seconds. So that will give me my 3 seconds of light. So let's give it a whack, hopefully, see what happens. My arm's going to get in the way. Hopefully you can see it as it comes through. 1, 2, 3, 4, and off. Okay. Next is going to use this card and burn the sky in for, like I said, 33 seconds. I'm just going to go 33 seconds. And just waving it, the card, I don't know if you can see this now, but I'm just bouncing the card very slowly. And I will just start drifting up away from the car so it kind of vignettes the sky in. But I'm still rocking motion with the card because I don't want any straight edges, I just want it all to blend. And I'll show you this in a minute, what I did with the lights on. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, and the paper goes. And it'll be in there for around about a minute. You can already see the image starting to come through. Hopefully that sky will start coming through in a moment. Here it comes. Okay, I'm going to leave that now to soak, and for another 30 seconds, stop and fix, and we'll hang it up and have a look. Okay, and here it is, the one that I've just developed. My first actual test print, if you like. Still not there, but you get the idea. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see the underside of the car too well on the camera, but under the light in the darkroom it's lightened it up. Well, of course it would do because I only gave it 3 seconds of light, whereas this one had 7 seconds of light. But you can certainly see now by burning the clouds in, we've started to get some information in there. So in effect, this isn't actually a bad print. I thought I was going to need to do a little bit more on the actual grill as well, but that's come out all right. I've got some nice differences between the grill and the grill chromey parts, if you like. But one thing I'll show you is looking at the headlight. I'm going to try and just make this a little bit more punchier using the little tiny burn tool. So let's show you the burn tool. And this is the burn tool here. It's just a piece of black card with a hole in it. So once I've finished my print, exactly what I did a minute ago on this, I'm going to use this and just burn in a little tiny bit more of these dark areas, just to make that highlight pop, give it a little bit more, the headlight pop a little bit more, and give it a bit more punch. So I'll show you that on the enlarger. I'm not sure if you'll see it, but we'll have a go. Right, so off we go again. So we're going to do 7 seconds like we did before. And then cover this area for 4 seconds. So off we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Burn the sky in for 33 seconds, and this time I'm going to bring it down towards the car more, because I felt there was just too much. I'm just going to bring it down the car. I'm just going to burn the top of the car very slightly, and you can see I'm just rocking it back and forward. I want to get some information just above the bonnet in the sky, because I was lacking that on the last print. So I'm literally just burning as well the top of the car, which might look too dark, but just shows you what I'm doing anyway. Okay, and then the last part is to burn the light in. I'm going to go for 10 seconds. It might be too dark. In fact, I can count this in. I don't know if you can see. Okay, what I'm going to do is lift this up just underneath the lens, and when I turn the light on, I can see the image projected here, so I can know exactly where I need to place this. So place the hole. Let's see if this works. There's the light, and on it goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It might be too dark, but it's just a demonstration. So this is the next test print that I've done. You can see where, just there, where I brought the sky down a bit more. Here, I just felt like I'd stopped it too early. So I brought it down right against the bonnet of the car, which I think makes the car stand out more. This just too light in this area. And you can see where I've just used the little tiny, show you, that little hole, burning light for 10 seconds into the headlight. It's just made it pop a bit more compared to this. We've got the darks going on, we've got a bit more highlight happening here as well. And personally, I think it pops a little bit more. And then this is the tool that I used at the bottom, just to try and bring out a little bit more shadow underneath. Just using this little tool here, stopping the light hitting these areas. During the making of these prints, you may have seen something that's on the paper, or on the negative, sorry. See that there? Little tiny mark. Now that's white, so it's indicating there's something on the negative, because it's on this one as well, it's not on the paper. So I'm just having a quick look at the negative and see what that is, see if I can get rid of that. Okay, so I managed to get rid of that little tiny speck that was sitting on the negative, just using a soft cloth and wiping it off. And I've gone through the complete procedure again, exactly what we did the last 2 prints, but this time I'm going to use the circular tool, and this is what I call vignetting the shit out of it. I'm just going to literally vignette all these edges at the top here using this circular tool, bringing it up towards the lens where the light's coming through, and kind of covering this area, but trying to make an arc, really burning this sky for no other reason, just to show you burning in, if you like, I suppose. So I'm going to be covering this area with this dodge tool and literally just creating an arc. You'll see. Let's put it on for another 30 seconds. So I'm actually adding 30 seconds to the top part of the sky. I'm going to put this up at the lens and then slowly bring it down. And here it comes. I'm just going to vignette. I can't actually see because I've got the red light on, which is a real pain. But we'll try anyway. Now I could use my hands for this. You can't see, I can't see. I might have to do another one. Let's see what happens there. Let's see if we manage to vignette the shit out the top part of the image. And also around the edges at the bottom, I noticed. Upside down. Okay, let's leave that in there for another 30 seconds and have a look. So although I couldn't actually see what I was burning because I had the red light on, and I would have been able to see better without it, but never mind, you can see I've just started to burn in a little bit more of these areas and the corners here as well compared to this one. So I've burned in another 30 seconds of the top part of the sky, if you like, and I think it also affected some of the areas around here, but to me that print looks quite nice. And I managed to get rid of the little tiny mark that was sitting there. That's gone. And here are some more examples of thin negatives, if you like. These were shot at a concert on Ilford Delta 3200. And you can see, very transparent. They're going to come out real dark. They'll need a lot of dodging and burning on them ones. And this is more prints of a car show. You can see these ones are very contrasty as well, very dense. Lots of blacks and whites going on in there. Lots of highlights, lots of black areas. Again, dodging and burning I'll need to do on them. They're the ones I showed you earlier, I think. So we'll carry on with that one. And again, when I had a trip up into London, some of the buildings up there, you can see the dense areas of the sky and some of the reflective buildings as well. I was having real trouble photographing. See, there's the Gherkin there. This is the Lloyd's building in London, and yeah, you can see the very dense negatives. But the point I'm making here is understanding, looking at the negatives and instantly looking at them and saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to need to be able to do. I have to do some dodging and burning in the darkroom, and you know, to try and get something out of these. There's a train there on the London Underground as well. You can see the little black specks are the lights of the train, and you can imagine if I put that on the enlarger, then the light's not going to go through that, which will indicate that will end up with the paper being white, which would be the lights on the train. And again here, the Gherkin, a street with the Gherkin in the background. You can see a very bright sky. But as you saw on the car print, it's workable. So, you know, the point I'm making is when you look at your negatives, you soon learn to understand how you're going to print them, if you're going to do some dodging or burning or whatever. And after a few tests, you know, as long as your negatives aren't underexposed, if they're underexposed, you're in trouble. But if they're thin like these, you can get around it and make some good prints. Oh, and I forgot to mention that although I'm using cards and these little tiny dodge tools and stuff, you can also use your hands. You don't have to use cards. I use hands sometimes. You can use your fist and make different shapes around the print, which I enjoy doing sometimes. On this one I just showed you using the cards that I use, but you can manipulate the print and darken areas and light areas by using your hands and burning in and dodging as well using the hands. So that's another thing you might want to try playing around with. Okay, so that's pretty much wrapping the video up. I've showed you a little bit of dodging and burning, or at least what I do in the darkroom, dodging and burning. And if you're new to darkroom printing, it's great fun to do. You can get these contrast filters that I do use as well. I could have used the contrast filters tonight just to balance the contrasts out and make life a little bit easier. But I enjoy dodging and burning in the darkroom. For me, it makes you feel like you're actually working on a print and you're doing something productive, I suppose, a bit more hands-on than putting contrast filters in. But even if you do use contrast filters, you can still end up doing some dodging and burning as well on the print, as such as what I did with the headlight. You know, it was just a little extra to throw in on that print to make the headlight pop. I didn't have to do it, but I wanted to do it, and I think that's a fun part about having a darkroom and making your own prints, is doing what you want to do, and most importantly, having fun at the same time. So I hope I've answered some of the questions that I've got about dodging and burning. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments, or you can always send me a private message. I'll try and reply as soon as I can. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for your support and all that other stuff, and I'll catch you next time. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss the next one.